Hello, I'm Laara Copley-Smith and Jason Smith is with me today, and we are talking about men and mental health. And this is our mini series and episode number 3. Hi, Jason. Thank
Hi,
you.
Laura.
And today we're going to take a look at awareness of the body emotion connection, mind-body connection, and also becoming more aware of what makes your body feel good, because that affects your emotions and your mind.
100%. I mean, an important point for people to remember as well is that your physical health impacts your mental health, and your mental health impacts your physical health. So it's a two-way street, really. And you're going to talk about, because you've got a lot. You're quite knowledgeable on this, Laura, about nutrition and fitness as well. But it does have a big impact on your mental health. We talked about, I think, didn't we, in the last two episodes, about the fact that lockdown is impacting people in a lot of bad ways. And one of the ways is that people aren't able to get out and do a lot of the exercise as well. But I think there's another point as well, and you can talk about this, Lara, as well, that when you sort of stuck indoors, and when you are a bit depressed or a little bit stressed, you tend to comfort eat, and this is obviously not good, for your mental health either. So, I mean, do you want to talk a bit about different types of foods and things that you?
Yeah, I can do. I mean, I think when you're not feeling good emotionally, or we've talked about stress, and anxiety, if you've got a leaning towards eating badly, or kind of emotional eating. I mean, in actual fact, I know this is more about men, but women lean more to do with emotional eating. But you can, you're more likely, aren't you, to use food as a tool to kind of either dumb your emotions down, too much sugar, too much chocolate, just not great foods that are feeding your immune system and your kind of healthy mind, body. So I think it's really about being aware of what you're doing and making some clear strategies of how to bring in good nutrition into your everyday. And if that's not being a strong point for you, then it's just starting with evaluating where you're at, and where you tend to lean to, eat rubbish, and try to reformulate your food. Always, think about how much acidic food that you're eating and alkaline, because more alkaline food is going to make you feel better in your body. Yeah. And if you're eating foods that actually drain your energy, protein, making sure you've got enough protein and vegetables. I mean, I know, there's lots of people who are either plant-based or keto or whatever you believe in, but I think protein and fresh vegetables are pretty much key in your food.
Yeah. The other thing as well, which you mentioned as well, is about, when you're having processed foods, certainly, and fast foods, the amount of energy in those foods is not, is very little, actually. And there's a lot of chemicals in there as well, and the chemicals can have a negative effect on your emotional state and your mental state as well. So eating a lot of processed foods and a lot of fast foods, really, it doesn't give you a lot of energy, and when you've got a lack of energy, then that does affect your sort of mental health as well. So all these things kind of feed into each other. And when you mentioned about the alkaline foods as well, as a general rule of thumb for your physical health, alkaline foods are particularly good for that. You feel more energized, and actually it prevents various ailments as well. But I think if you look at it from the perspective of, I always look at food as an energy, really, as an energy source. And if you look at food in that way, you know, for example, if you think about this food's going to give me this kind of energy or that kind of energy, or at least some energy, you know, for example, you know, if people put a food in a microwave, by microwaving that food, you're actually taking away a lot of or possibly all of the energy in that food, because it's irradiated. So these are things that a lot of people don't really consider, because all food is effectively is energy for your body, you know, and different kinds of energy. So you want to be, it's like, I mean, a good example is, and this is a very good example. If you had a car, for example, you know, you've got to put distilled water in your car, I think, in your engine, because otherwise it packs up. If you put Coca-Cola in your car engine, it wouldn't last very long. Well, you'd probably explode, actually. But that's what people are doing with the body. They're putting Coca-Cola and these kind of toxic things in the body. The body's not really, you know, really fitted up to sort of deal with this kind of stuff. So I always say, if you wouldn't put it in your car, why are you putting it in your body?
Yeah, the things like Coca-Cola and, you know, Red Bull. Is it Red Bull, I think? I see lots of people buy that. I mean, they're just corrosive, aren't they, to
Yeah.
the system, really. And it's, you know, and the junk food is kind of empty energy. So
Exactly.
meaning it might give you a spurt of energy for like about an hour, but it doesn't really give you any nutrition, and it can give you empty calories is what I mean. So in actual fact, you can, you know, put a lot of weight on, or, you know, and
There's also the fact in fast foods as well, where we, you know, mentioned about the chemicals, but for example, you know, monosodium glutamate is supposed to be a flavoring, but it's a very addictive thing. And what that does is it makes you want to eat more of whatever you're eating. You know, so really, you know, a lot of these fast foods have got these chemicals in that actually are there specifically to make you eat more of that stuff.
yeah, they are. But they are. A lot of them are kind of designed to create an addiction, so that you want more McDonald's or you want more Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, I get in trouble for saying that, you know, but you want more of that type of food, as opposed to going towards your broccoli, or, you know, so part of it is actually retraining your taste buds, and a lot of kind of you know, that the junk foods that have got a lot of toxins in them, because there are some out there. Well, just to raise the two names that I said, I'm not talking about those, but they are addictive to your taste buds, and so they overstimulate your taste buds, and then like it becomes a need. So kind of weaning yourself off those foods, aren't you?
And another thing that we probably should mention, Laara, as well, is I think we talked about this before a little bit as well, that a lot of these processed foods, and certainly, well, most processed foods actually, have got a large amounts of sugar in. And sugar is one of the most addictive substances on the planet, more addictive than some hard drugs, actually. So when people, you know, when I see clients and when I talk to people and I don't have any addictions, well, the majority of people are addicted to sugar, you know, and this is not a great thing to do, because with any addiction, addictions are used to mask anxiety and stress. So, you know, even if somebody's, I don't take drugs and I'm not an alcoholic, but they could well be addicted to sugar, and these are the things that'll mask the anxiety. So when we're talking about stress and anxiety, which we've talked about, a lot of the time people use food to mask the anxiety that they're having.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is, you know, if you eat badly, or you eat some sort of takeaway or whatever, I mean, I wouldn't do that full stop. I just don't run very well on even the odd one. But if the everyday man out there goes and eats whatever every now and again, it's not going to really have a massive impact. But if they do it on an ongoing basis, then it's like that compound energy, isn't it? Where it will affect your diet and your body.
Yeah, and it's a downward spiral, you see, because you have you feel anxious, so you eat certain food, or you drink certain thing, alcohol or whatever, and then you don't feel great. Then you get into that cycle, where you keep doing it, and then what it does is it runs down your body, and also your mental health suffers as well, because like your body, your mind needs these nutrients and these things to function properly. Mind and body are connected, is what we're kind of talking about, really. So these things have impact on everything. When your body's not feeling good, it has effect on your mental health, and when your mental health's not good, it has effect on your body. So you're going
all
down
connected.
It's all connected. Yeah.
And then of course there's things like hydration and keeping well hydrated, not necessarily with alcohol or too much coffee, or too much green tea for me, but with water. Especially if we are 70% water, so that is a really key thing for every day. And then moving on to kind of exercise, and how in these times, people haven't got, men haven't got the gym to go to. Maybe they were swimmers like me and did everyday swimming, or triathletes, or, there's all sorts of scenarios. And how important it is to replace whatever they can't do that was a regular with something else.
Yeah. Exactly, because if you can't get these endorphins and things from training or from your work or your job, then food is another way to sort of try and and get the same kind of things. So sometimes when you're not doing the exercise, the food can be even more important, really.
Yeah, most certainly it is more important, but and ensuring, just being flexible to, okay, so I can't go to the gym, what can I use at home, where can I do my exercise, and finding a regular strategy that you perhaps do every day, or 5 times a week. For me, it's kind of every day. And putting that in place, and being accountable to yourself so that you get that exercise.
Yeah. And another thing as well is that habits as well. People always think of a habit as being really negative, but habits can be positive as well. If you get yourself into a regime of training or exercise, that's a very positive habit to have, as long as you don't take it to extremes, I suppose. So these things can be positive. It's like, I don't want a habit. Well, if you have a habit of going to the gym every day, that's quite a positive habit. If you have a habit of eating healthy, nutritious food every day, that's another good habit. So it's not always negative if you've got a habit.
No, I mean, for instance, I was a swimmer for over 30 years, and I swam virtually every day unless I was away and couldn't get to a swimming pool, didn't have a swimming pool access. So when we were put into lockdown and all the gyms and the pools closed, that was like a really big deal for me. And for instance, I'm very lucky. I have MOD kind of heathland that is quite rugged and hilly and expansive. And the next day after the pool closed, I just continued to get up very early at 5 a.m, as I would as if I was going swimming, and replace my swimming. So I didn't have a break. I just put that routine in, and I've carried on in March, it will be an entire year. and just had that routine, and it's solid. So however I feel, I still get up at the same time. And I would say that it's been really a key thing for me to keep me grounded and feeling pretty good, really.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And I know we touched on this the last time we spoke, about how the mind has an impact on your body as well. And I gave a few examples there about about a test that was done at Manchester University, where your mind, just visualization in your mind, can have an impact on actually increasing your body, or your strength, or your endurance, whatever that might be. So this is another thing that you can do, you see, with these tools. Visualize. You might not be able to get out and do the same kind of training or the same kind of things that you used to be able to do necessarily because of certain restrictions, but through your mind and your visualization, and sometimes through meditation as well, you can get a similar benefit as you would by being outdoors, or even doing an exercise. So that's something as well that that people can do as well.
It is. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if I didn't have the land that I have, that is very, it's like being in the middle of a very rural location, I would just go and exercise on the streets. I would just walk wherever. There's regulars who run over there. Although I don't see them very often because I go earlier, but I think it's just thinking outside of what your old box was, the exercise that you used to do, and being creative with finding a replacement that you can do. Go and look on eBay for secondhand equipment, get some weights for at home, and find that way to get your endorphins, which is what the hormones that you get from exercising, which are good feeling hormones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just want to throw this out there, because I think this might be quite relevant. But if anyone's watching this and interested in how it works, there's an author. She's not around anymore, Louise Hay, and she's wrote a lot of interesting books about how certain thought patterns in your mind affect certain parts of your physical body. So for example, if somebody's got a thought pattern of not wanting to hear things, if that's the sort of person who, I don't want to hear what you've got to say, quite often these people can develop problems with their ears. Or if someone's got a mindset with, oh, I'm afraid to move forward, quite often they can have problems with the limbs, or the feet, or the legs. So that's very interesting. It just proves again that your thoughts and your mindset really can impact on your body. But that can work in the positive way as well. So if you put out a positive thought there, that I'm open and receptive, or I'm moving forward, or whatever, then that can have obviously the opposite effect. So don't be dismissing how powerful your thoughts are in this respect. So for example, like affirmations are incredibly powerful. So if you wake up one day and you're feeling a bit because we're talking about anxiety, aren't we, on this one? So if you're not feeling great, use an affirmation to change that. So because when you do the affirmation, you're affirming to yourself that you're feeling in a certain way, and then your body will fall in line. So rather than saying or rather than thinking, it's the same thing really. If you're thinking, I'm feeling tired, I'm not feeling motivated, you're creating that in your body as well. So by changing that, you can change how you feel as well. So and certainly in relation to sort of physical exercise and motivation, can be quite powerful.
Yeah, Louise Hay has some very good books, hasn't she? I mean, extensive books, but she has a very good book that relates different problems, physical problems in the body, to emotional thoughts. And I'm fairly certain that knees is around moving, feeling stuck in your life, not moving forward. And she gives an affirmation, doesn't she, for that.
And that's a good example there, Laara, for people. So if anyone's watching this and they've got a specific problem, you could Google this as well, I suppose. But if you wanted to look into it a bit more, but if they had a specific problem with like the hands or their arms, it could be holding on to things. Could be the problem. If you've got a problem with the eyes, it could be not wanting to see what's going on. So if you look at it in that context, because when we mentioned before about when you've got anxiety and trauma from way back, quite often not aware of what the cause is, but sometimes from your physical body, you can back engineer and realize what the thought pattern behind it is that's creating the problem.
Yeah, most certainly. And actually on the exercise, the body connection, if you're somebody who needs to be motivated, like for instance, perhaps you're a man and you used to go to the gym and you used to have a trainer, or you used to train with somebody, there are lots of things that are online challenges that you could sign up to. And I've just signed up to something that's for 3 months. And there's a Facebook group, and this is for women, but they do have, I'm sure there'll be men ones. So that's a really good thing, because then what it means is that you've joined a challenge, you're committing, whether you keep committed or not, but you're in a group, there's other people there, and there's support. So you can reach out and perhaps you'll even make some, I know, virtual friends, but in actual fact, I have some amazing connections who I've met in challenges and groups. And it's a really good way of keeping yourself focused on perhaps, something that you want to achieve whilst you're in lockdown, for instance.
Yeah.
So just
and doing it full circle for a quick one, motivation, what you put in your body in relation to your food will actually very much impact on your motivation. So if you're eating basically food that has no energy, you won't have any motivation. So all these things sort of fit together, really. So if you've not got no motivation, have a look at your diet first of all. Am I putting fuel in my body first of all, and then also am I using my mind in the right way? Am I sort of feeding back to my mind the problems that I've got, or the problems that I think I've got? So there's a few things there that are really simple things that you can change, or you can look at in your life, I suppose.
And then moving on to adding something to the toolkit for challenging times or any time, we're going to look at a meditation that can increase energy as opposed to a meditation that takes you down.
And and I think this is a really important point, Laara, actually, because especially for men, because when you talk about meditation, a lot of people think about sort of like people sat around with their legs crossed by a river and stuff, and it's not really a manly thing, and that's the perception of people. So not a lot of men tend to do meditation, really, but you can call it mindfulness if you like, or you can call it whatever you want, really. But what a lot of people don't understand or aren't aware of is that you can also do what you call energy meditation. And I do an energy meditation, which is kind of the opposite of a normal meditation, because in a normal meditation, what you would normally expect is to get relaxation, a deep relaxation, and stress relief and all that kind of stuff, which is really good for you and everything. But there might also be an occasion where you might want to get an energy boost or that kind of thing. So it's kind of the opposite way around. And I quite often think that the energy meditation is much more something that a man might be interested in, because it feels a bit more sort of like a bit more guru type of thing. You know, it's about energy, it's about power, you know, and I just think, you know, you don't see these around that much really. But I think it's very important, because just as it's important to have the relaxation, it's equally important to be able to energize yourself as well, especially for a male as well, when, you know, who might be a more active person, or, you know, might be into sort of exercise or a sport as well. I think that can be, you know, even more important. I mean, I use this technique with professional sports people who I work with as well, to build up power and energy and endurance and things of that nature. So it's not really it's much more of a male thing than it is a female thing as well. So so that's an interesting. But so basically, what I'm going to I'm just going to talk about how we do this really. I think we talked about meditation in a previous episode as well. But this is you're working in a similar way. But what you're doing in an energy meditation is, instead of having a relaxing sort of music or a soundtrack, you know, you on an energy meditation, you're wanting something that's more energizing. So I quite often like to use the Native American music, which is very much I think it's more of a kind of a masculine energy, but it's very powerful energy as well. Lots of beats and things. But you could use anything. I mean, potentially. I mean, I've also like to use lightning, which a lot of people find a bit bizarre, but I think it's a very, very powerful thing to do. So whatever it is, whatever your thing is, whatever energizes you. I mean, I don't know if you want to put sort of dance music on, really. That might be a little bit too far, but you know, but sort of music that's more energizing or powerful. Like there's a very good if you want to Google this for people, there's a band called Two Steps from Hell. Sounds a bit negative, but it's actually very, very powerful, epic music. It's more sort of music than it is actual. It's not a lot of singing or vocals in it, but it's very, very powerful music, and that can be very, very, very powerful. So you'd find out whatever sort of music sort of ticks that box for you, and then, you know, you are still sat down and in a, but rather than relaxing, what you're doing is you're channeling in energy into. You can do this in different ways. Quite often you channel it into the base, your base of your body, you know. So you through your visualization, which we talked about earlier, which is a very, very powerful thing. You're channeling energy into your body, into your energy center, which is your base energy is generally where your energy kind of comes in. Your sort of your navel or your base chakra, if you want to use that term. You know, you're channeling energy into that. And so you're actually building up the energy. And what you find is, if you do an energy meditation, that that basically you'll come out feeling very, very, very super energy, almost like you've done a workout, but you've not actually done anything. So you're getting you're actually getting a very similar benefit mentally than you'd get from a workout, but you're not actually doing anything. But because if you think about it, when you do exercise, all you're doing in that is building up energy in your body. But you can do that through an energy meditation without actually having to, you know, do anything. So potentially it's good for people who are injured or people who don't like exercise particularly, but you can get the same benefits from that. So that's something to consider if you're a man. And it's possible we could do something at a later date. We could put together something, you know, on a video as well, you know, in that respect. But that's something to consider. So,
and how long would that take, Jason, to do that kind of energy meditation?
Yeah, I mean, I would generally sort of myself. I would look at something about, you know, 20 minutes to half an hour. You know, with the thing is with the energy meditation, it just generally different people different as well. But it generally takes you a little while to build up a significant amount of energy anyway. certain people can generate energy and can channel energy better than others. And it depends also as well on your health of your body and your mind as well. Because if you're in good balance, mind, body, you're going to be able to build energy and channel energy better than someone who is not. So, it could generally sometimes take 10 minutes, 15 minutes for some people to start to actually build up the energy. But when you do this meditation, if you've got your eyes closed, you can, well, not everybody, some people can see the energy moving round as it's around down through the body. So very interesting thing to do, and much more sort of, I suppose, much more something that a man might be interested in.
So
that kind of feeling.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to see if is there a way that we can do something around that on a video, or is it more difficult?
We could do something maybe on a video possibly, yeah. Because it's just effectively just like a guided meditation, really. But instead of having it from the relaxation side of things, you're doing it from the energizing side of things. So if you've got low energy, or you're struggling with certain things, an energy meditation can be quite good. It depends what state you're in, really. If you're buzzing already, and if you've got an over amount of energy, obviously you won't want to necessarily do that. But it depends. I always use the thought process in healing, that balance is the key. So sometimes you might need a meditation, a relaxing meditation, and sometimes you might need an energy meditation. So they've all got the place, really.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to investigate how we could do a video just on that, and just taking men for their toolkit through an energy meditation with some sort of music in the background. We'll master some of this technology in time. Okay, well, I think that's it, isn't it, for today?
Should we do a quick breathing technique before we go?
Yes.
Just because it's kind of referring, I suppose it's kind of connected as well to the energy meditation. This is very similar to the one we did before, but where we did the one before, we did it for relaxation. This is now the opposite way around. So we're doing an energizing breathing technique. So whereas before we covered the right nostril up, this time we're going to cover up the left nostril. So you're doing a similar process, but so you're covering up the left nostril. You're breathing this time through your right nostril. So first of all, you're releasing the air first of all as much as you can, and as you're doing that, imagining tiredness and strain leaving your body. So you imagine that leaving your body. Once you've completely emptied your body of that, then you breathe in, and now you're breathing in. You imagine breathing in through your right nostril. Energy, you imagine breathing in energy or power, or that whatever that feeling is for yourself. Imagine breathing in that energy or that power into your body. And that's the process. But this time, you don't need, because this is actually, it seems to be much easier to build up energy in your body than it is to build up relaxation. So if you do this 6 times, you'll find yourself being very, very, very energized. So if you're feeling a bit low or a bit tired, this is a very, very quick pick me up, energy wise. So you put in the thumb over the left nostril, releasing out of the right nostril any tension or strain or stress, suppose. And then when you're breathing in, slowly breathing in, and then you're breathing in, imagining breathing in energy or power, however you want to imagine that, or think about something in your mind that sort of reminds you or that connects you to that as well. And that's a very, very quick process. If you're feeling tired or feeling drained, or if, for example, if you've got to do something that you need a bit of energy for, and you're feeling a bit low, that's a really quick way to get yourself back on track, really. So the opposite way around to the relaxation, But it's again a very useful tool to have as well, that one. Don't know if you want to feedback how you're feeling on that, Laara.
Yeah, actually, that's quite interesting, because you do, doing the other way, it's kind of bringing you down. I don't mean in a negative way. I mean,
No.
calming the system. And I feel quite different breathing in this way. I do feel like I do feel energized.
Yeah.
Can't
So
be a
that's
bad
another
thing.
useful tool for people there to keep in mind. And they're easy things to remember. The only thing you don't need to do this as, I mean, the first one that we did, the relaxation one, the 26 times is good to get you in a deep state. But in this one, six times will get you energized. So it seems to be a lot easier to energize yourself than it is to relax yourself.
Yeah, we've never been taught really to relax ourselves, but we're always being taught, we live in a energized universe. So I think to take in that energy and use it is easier than to calm the nervous system down.
And
So
it's also
fantastic.
positive energy as well. It's not sort of, it's positive energy rather than nervous energy and that sort of thing. So you're breathing positive, good energy rather than breathing in, I don't know, like nervous energy, which is another energy, but it's not a good energy. But again, this is another thing where potentially if you could go outdoors and in the summer, this is something that's even better if you do it outdoors. Obviously, you're around nature and things, and you can connect then to a better level. So even if you do this, if you're doing some sport or some exercise, it's a good thing to get you in the zone really quickly as well.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm breathing in empowerment and energy. And you do quite quickly feel that moving through you. So I think that's a great tool.
So there we go. And if
Yeah.
you do that in conjunction as well with the, if you can imagine if you do that in conjunction with the energy meditation, you can imagine that's even more powerful, you see.
So we'll try and find a way to do the energy meditation with some sort of sound music for another time. And that's fantastic. Thank you for being with me today.
Thanks, Laara.